Scragg, can you tell us more about what you did this semester regarding students and repeatedly reassuring them about the support available to them?
Yeah, and so for just a bit of context, this support and kind of my dogged or persistent messaging was often in relation to students um, starting and persisting and completing assignments, particularly kind of projects. The course is EDT that I taught was EDT 180, educational technology course, and a really fascinating course that set up kind of for really student-led and kind of owned tech projects, exploring kind of new and emerging technologies, and then kind of using their own interest to create out of that. And frequently, as we delivered it via ASU Sync, there were lots of times when students really had to own and take ownership for getting in and starting and completing the assignment when there was lots of ambiguity right in what I was looking for, and we have rubrics in Canvas, and we reviewed instructions, and we did activities in class to help students sense make, but just found that a lot of students, is particularly this term, whether it was the distance, whether it was COVID, whether it was life, often in their reflections and in their writing or in what they would share with me, where I wasn't sure how to get started, I didn't have the confidence, I didn't think I had the capability. And so there was a lot of messaging that I was getting of, I'm behind, I'm just not into it this week, or life's crazy, or I don't know what to do. And broadly, I took to messaging throughout my class, like in my, course slides and things like that. I would kind of use the feedback they were sending me and kind of share that on screen of, here's what I'm hearing from you this week. So I'm gonna, it was anonymous, so I didn't put names on it, but here is a quote. If it came in via a Slack direct message or an email or came in the Zoom chat on the side, I would just copy that kind of verbatim and say, here's what I'm hearing from you. These are your words. If one of you in this community is dealing with it, or I'm hearing from many of you, there may be others who are dealing with this as well, but not expressing it. And it just kind of sent the message that, in any of these instances, for whatever your kind of reasons are, if you find yourself behind, if you find yourself feeling like a procrastinator, which is, a lot of times just avoidance, right, and not engaging in the work, then I want to have a conversation with you. I can't see often the reasons for why or what, but we can work a lot on that. And so there's no real grand strategy here other than I sent persistent messages that I'm hearing these things from you. We can work on this. You don't need to feel like a bad student or a bad person if you're overwhelmed, if you're behind. This happens to everyone in every sector of life. So what we need to do is handle this productively, to talk about it. And what I got back in my course reflections and the final reflection was a lot of feedback from students that seeing the words of other students kind of validated what they were experiencing, and then allowed them to not just internalize that as some kind of failure or something wrong with them, that it spurred them to reach out. And I did, after sending that message, and it took some time, I think, to also garner some trust from students that I meant that I'm not going to punish you explicitly for being behind or overwhelmed, but we want to work through it. I think that allowed some students to reach out and say, hey, I'm feeling behind, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't know what to do with this. And a couple of them in their final reflection who shared that was a big impetus for them being able to reach out. So no grand strategy at the end of the day, just being willing to kind of take students at their word, share that with some manner of empathy, and inviting others to use that as permission or an invitation to take some of those internalized feelings and do something productive with them.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us today.